Hello everybody, this is Baron a Bear, and this is going to be another video guide for the Walking Dead Survivors mobile game. And this is going to be about the restricted zone. Also, please make sure you like and subscribe and smash that notifications button for future videos. Also, I tried a lot of times to put certain information in my pinned comments in my videos, so make sure you check that out. There's going to be some information on where you can access all this information that's in this video right now, and you can copy paste what you want where you want to do it. It's all provided for you in the pinned comments. Okay, contents of the video. This is just a basic explanation of how the video will go through everything. Basic overview of images the game provides. Basic starting strategy with screenshot guide. And I will give you variations to those strategies. And then followed by developer suggestions to improve the matchmaking process. Because there are issues with that from what reports I've been getting back from a lot of players, there is some manipulation going on, and that's affecting the fairness of the matchmaking. Okay, here's the first image here. This is restricted zone rules. Winning conditions. In order to win the battle, a clan must obtain 50 million victory points. If neither clan reaches that in the first 30 minutes, after the 30 minutes is over, the battle, whoever has the most points will win. Now, from my experience in doing restricted zone, I've never actually been able to, since they changed the time to 30 minutes, I've never actually seen a battle that somebody actually got 50 million points. So it's basically going to be whoever gets the most points in the 30 minutes is going to be the winner. Preparation time, you get in the starting zones, everyone will start. You get 5 minutes to prepare and strategize. And what a lot of players, leaders will do is they'll go around the buildings and assign either names or set teams for those buildings, so all their members know which of the buildings that they should focus on. I'll go over that more later on. Capturing and defending buildings. Initially, this is important to understand this. The buildings will be occupied by walkers. They will have be defeated in order to occupy the building. The clan who kills the last wave of walkers will gain the right to occupy first. And the troops that killed the last wave of walkers will directly be placed as garrisoned and will defend the building. If an opposing clan wishes to take this building, they will have to defeat those garrison troops and then defend the building for a certain amount of time. I think it might be 2 minutes, maybe. I'm not real sure. So what that means is, if you send a march to kill, I'll zoom in here, to kill the level 19 walker, the next march that hits that building is going to take control of that building, okay? So, if you're in your clan, you want to take the arsenal, as soon as somebody hits and defeats the first walker, whoever hits after that's going to take control of that, and they'll defend, okay? So it's real important if you want a certain building to kill that first walker, and then send your strongest troop marches to that building to take it before the enemy even gets there. So hopefully it helps you out there a little bit. Tips and tricks. Discuss your clanmates to find the best time for everyone. Choosing a time that is suitable that might cause you to have an incomplete team. Not suitable, okay? Communication once inside the restricted zone is also vital. Communicate regularly via in-game chat, or if possible, set up a voice chat communication. Discord servers are great for that. You can set a voice chat for that. You can even mute all your members, and only the officers and the leader of the clan can speak, so that they can actually direct the focus of the battle without having to worry about others interrupting. That's a good trick. Know your opponent. It's important you can actually create a new game and go over to their server and see what their clan is ranked on their server. You know, if they're in the top 3 of the in that server, if they're below that, then if they're not in the top 3, then you're going to know that they probably aren't going to have the strongest players on that server. So there's a good chance you're going to have of being able to defeat them. Strategize. Create plans, smaller teams with clans to participate with your clans, so that the special tasks to focus on within the battlefield. I'm going to go over this later on in the video. Adapt. Your primary plan will not always work. Be sure to have a plan B and C and be ready to adapt in the middle of the battle. Think of the RZ as like a game of chess, okay? You have each of your own sides, okay? The key is a lot of times you want to focus on taking over your side first and then see how you can then approach the battle. If they start to attack your side, you can send some of your members to defend some of your buildings, you know, or attack some of theirs. You know, I'll go over that later. Research. Learn about what each building can grant you and its purpose in battle. Learn the buildings, their functions, what's the most important. Prioritize what buildings you need to take and which ones you're willing to sacrifice if you have to. Restricted zone buildings. I'm going to go over the buildings as fast as I can. Now, remember, each of these buildings have victory points for the first occupation. So, if you take over all of your side's buildings first, right off the bat, you're going to have half the points that you can possibly get in the beginning of a match. Okay, the arsenal. If you take this over first, you get 40,000 victory points right off the bat. It provides 1,500 victory points each per second. I'll go over this. I have it broke down and below this. And also, remember this, periodic bonus will increase the occupation time increases 300,000 all the way up to 1.8 million. Okay, so the longer you control the arsenal, the more points over time it will start to generate and give you additional bonus points. So the arsenal is probably it has to be the most important building to take. Okay, if you can't, you can do other things to possibly still win. So don't lose hope if you can't take the arsenal. All right, the command center is probably the second most important. All right, this building really, you can clan members can relocate to their corresponding area on the map, and occupying clan will receive 1,350. I'll go over this later. First occupation points, 40,000 victory points. And it's important to understand command center that it has an area, okay? If you look at the full map of the RZ, each of the 4 command centers, it divides the map into 4, okay? And each quadrant of those sections that each of those command centers controls, if you lose that command center, all your players bases that are in that command center are going to be immediately teleported. Okay, so if your players are teleporting to certain locations, it's important to make sure you keep control of that command center, because if it gets taken, they'll get ported back to the starting zone, and all their formations that were out are going to be pulled back with them. So that can be a major crippling effect on your team if that happens to you. So if you want certain command centers to take control, make sure you try to keep them. Guard towers. This increases damage dealt to enemies in the arsenal only by 5%. There's 4 guard towers. So if you control all 4 guard towers if you lose the arsenal, you control all 4 of those guard towers. That's a 20% increase to damage against the arsenal to help you take that arsenal. Okay. Now, if you already have the arsenal and you're going to keep control of it, the guard towers aren't as useful, because you won't get. There's no benefit for the attack damage because you already have the building for it. So I'll go over the points. First occupation for the hospital, you get 36,000. Healing speed of wounded troops is increased by 100%. This buff is stackable. What that means is if you own both hospitals on both sides, 200% healing increase. Gas station, you get 27,000 victory points bonus to occupying in the beginning. 10 points of adrenaline upon first occupation. Then 2 further points of adrenaline for each minute of occupation. Remember, adrenaline is basically the stamina in RZ. So if you don't have stamina, you're not going to be able to attack or send marches out to buildings. All members of the occupying clan will also receive a 50% march speed increase. Occupying this building will also grant 900 victory points. Now think about this. The gas stations, the march speed increases to 50% march speed. So if you're trying to take over enemy buildings on the other side of the map, keeping control of your gas station is a big help to get to the other side of the map. Workshop. First occupation, 31.5 thousand victory points. All clan members receive 1 restricted zone relocation upon first occupation. So as soon as you occupy the workshop, your workshop, everybody will have a relocation, okay, that they can use. All right. After that, 1 more relocation every 10 minutes of occupation. So every 10 minutes. So in essence, 30-minute battle. You can get about 2 or 3 relocations throughout that battle. It is debatable whether this is a really super important, and a lot of times, because I've seen a lot of battles that you don't even really need to teleport too much. In the first maybe 10, 20 minutes, maybe it could be vital to keep. But after that point, you might want to consider sacrificing that building and using those troops somewhere else if it's needed. Ammo Depot. Occupied clan will receive 20% attack and defense buff. This can stack. Okay, so think about this. If you take over the enemy and ammo depot and your ammo depot, that's a 40% increased attack and defense. Okay, it's a huge game changer if you can get both. This building will grant 36,000 victory point bonus upon first completion occupation, then provides 1,200 victory points per second. Supply station. During the battle, supply station will refresh periodically and will offer 500 victory points per second for formations gathering there. Only 1 person can gather from each supply station. So if you get some weaker players, they get some F2s, F3s, and F4s, they can always send there. My experience, though, I get the most points not even focusing on supply stations. So if you're one of those players looking to get the highest rank in an RZ match in the scores, avoid the supply station and try to focus on command centers, arsenal, of course, and even the enemy command centers if you take them. All right, here's the building points breakdown. I'm not going to go over this too fast. I'm going to go over this fast just to kind of give you an idea. The arsenal is the highest, 1,500 per second. Command, followed by the command center, followed by the ammo depot and the hospital and guard towers. Okay, so they all had the same amount. But keep in mind too, now if you haven't taken the arsenal and you need to try to take it, and you want to take the guard towers to get the 5% boost to get the arsenals. For 4 of those guard towers, if you own all 4, that's 4,800 points per second. Okay. Workshop, it's 1,050. Gas stations, the lowest at 900. Options to organize players. There are 9 locations on each side of the map if you count the arsenal. You can assign 3 players per building, either by marking each building on the map with their names or assigning each 3 players to a team. Now, you can assign players to teams, 3 players to a team, 2 players to a team, 4 players to a team. There's a lot of variations that you can do. You can also set up variations as shown below, which I'm going to go over. Okay, Team 1. All right, what you can do here, you can use this strategy and just basically just tell players what team they're in, and then they instantly know which one. You can use my image. I will show you down here to use that strategy. All right, team 1, you want to focus on the arsenal. Send the strongest F1 formations. 4 of them. Okay, I got the players listed. You can just put their names in, or just give you an idea. Team 2, command center, you want 4, okay, of strong F1s, you know. Team 3, you can get command center 2. Team 4, ammo depot, strong F1s. Team 5, hospital. Team 6, guard tower, send weak F1s. You know, Team 7 for guard tower 2, send weak F1s. This is, you know, if you already got the arsenal, you know, what's the point in sending strong formations? Team 8, gas station, send weak F1s. Team 9, workshop, send weakest F1s. Now remember, in a gas station and workshop, they're vulnerable because they're on the sides of the map, and enemy players can teleport on the edges of command center areas of control, and they can attack those. So there's a strategy in that. There are players that will actually port over to a workshop or a gas station and take that in the very beginning of the game. It can really throw off your strategy if you lose those. Team 10, enemy depot, send top strongest F1s. Okay, that should be a 2 actually. Okay, I changed it. It's a 2 now. You want to possibly send your strongest F1 players. Alright, but remember, they must have march speed ups, okay, because it's on the other side of the map, and if you want to take it before the enemy does, then you need to get there before they do. What you can do is the next 2 here, F2 arsenal, send to kill first walker. You can designate a certain player to send their formation 2 to take that arsenal to kill the first walker, so the rest of your troops can immediately take that arsenal. Same thing with the ammo depot. If you do send, you know, your top strongest, send another player with their F2 or whatnot, just to kill that first walker, and then your strongest 2 players with F1s can take that and garrison that ammo depot right away. Okay. If you look up here, I'll show you what the monsters are levels for the walkers. Okay, it's only a level 19, a level 16. So most players, their F2s, F3s can take those, you know. Okay. Go back here. Okay, that was the basics for setting up a team. This is just a screenshot of, you can screenshot this. Give you a second to screenshot this. It basically shows you the priority. You know, the green is the best priority, the highest priority, yellow, then orange, then red, okay, and the numbers, you know, everything's numbered. So if you want to assign up, you know, players to team 1, they'll know to go to arsenal. So underneath this is just a basic guide of, just gives you a general idea of the strategy to start out with. I will also give you this one here too, if you want to screenshot this one. And you can just use this and give this out to your players, so that you can they'll know what the numbers mean without the strategy. Restricted zone strategy. Okay, make sure you can have 30 to 40 people actually show up. Okay, because you need 30 people in RZ, and you get 10 reserves to pick from before the match even starts. You can, you know, ask everybody who's all here, and then implement those 10 and put them in place of others that aren't online before the match starts. As an R5, it is your responsibility to message your clan and figure out who will be available. 30 people who show up are better than 5 of your strongest, okay? Make a list of your entire clans. F1 to F3 will help a lot. It may take a while to get all that information, especially if you have 100 active members, but little effort can go a long way for planning. Just because they have high power doesn't mean they have the strongest F1s, okay? So it's important to know who are your strongest F1 players. After you have your 30 selected and 10 subs, you need to start assigning people to all the locations on the map. If you cut the map directly in two, you have 9 locations on your side of the map. The arsenal is the only location that doesn't have a pair. Okay, 30 divided by 9 is 3 people per building. That's the basics of the strategy. You can assign 4 to arsenal and 2 to the enemy depot. After you take control of your side of the map and hopefully the enemy ammo depot start, assign attack targets for everyone's F2 to F3. So once you get your side of the map and you get the enemy depot, you could then start calling out your F2 and F3 of your players and designate what buildings you want an attack of the enemies. Start with command centers and work your way down the priority list. The top and bottom of the map near your gas station and your workshop, there is a location outside of the command center area that players can teleport without having to control any command center. So if you want to get an edge on your opponent early on, send someone there to attack the workshop and gas station. Same as teleporting near your enemy spawn locations on the edge of the map. Okay, another strategy some people would do is they'll teleport near the enemy starting location and they'll start attacking their player bases, and this will cause them a lot of idle wounded and troop loss wounded, so that they can't replenish their troops that they have out on the map. That's one strategy. Now this is not a bug, okay? This is, from what I've been told, this has been implemented in the game intentionally, so this is not going to be a fix. So make sure you keep that in mind and watch in the beginning of the match to see if any enemy players are teleporting on the edges of the map. Also recommend with enemy ammo depot, you have someone use 50% speed ups. The distance traveled is pretty far, so it helps you use 50% speed ups and get there before your opponent. Usually they don't send strong F1s, so it's also easy points early on. First occupation's 36,000 victory points. It's on their side of the map. It's going to take them off guard if you speed over there real quick and take it from them, because a lot of times some of these clans aren't going to expect that. If you control certain locations and confident you will keep them, individual players can decide to return march and focus help on other locations as needed. Bonus tip: strategy is key. Watch your opponent's movements and watch where the strongest player is and recognize their F1. If they have T9 and your strongest only has T8, whatever location they are garrisoning, usually arsenal, is basically going to be gone. But don't lose hope. Focus guarding all the other locations on the map. Make the enemy come to you instead of you going to them. If you control over 50% of the locations, you have a high chance of winning. You have more points per second than the enemy team and will be getting a good amount of points from kills from the enemy attacking you. Okay, so think about this. If you got 5 people garrisoned in a building and you have even reserves and they keep attacking you, it might take them a while for them to even take that building from you, and it's going to cause them a lot of troop loss because you have so many. Okay, unless they actually time themselves attacking a certain building, okay, you have 5 against their 1. So think about that. Also, it's important, like in before, the scout before a game match. Look at their server, go over there and see who their strongest players are and kind of get an idea how strong they are, and then you can make a decision if you can even take the arsenal. If their strongest player takes the arsenal, you can make a pretty good judgment call whether just not to try to do the arsenal. Final tip: use gather boost attack and defense items before battle. I'm not really sure if the gather boost works, but from what I gathered, from what I've tested, I've done it, I've gotten top ranks a lot of times just by using that. So maybe that's something that will change down the road. I don't know. If you are a player assigned to a certain building, you can use your other formations to garrison the arsenal, your command centers, and even enemy command centers if your clan has taken them to maximize your rank score. So you get 4 formations, and they're all out on all the buildings that have the most points per second. You're probably going to get close to being top rank. I've got top rank in an event by doing this strategy, so I think it's safe to say that it works. Developer notes. Okay, at this point, this is for just the developers. Suggestion I have is use overall clan power to determine matchmaking for normal RZ matches. Set a predetermined time to calculate opponents without letting players know. This would eliminate players from manipulating the matching process and encourage the best active members of each clan to participate in RZ. Overall clan power is already being used for most events, so this makes perfect logic to implement it in RZ as well. Now, some might debate on this suggestion. Well, it's not really fair to use the overall clan power if there's certain members don't join or whatnot. But you know what? If this solves the issues with people abusing and manipulating the matchmaking process to get an unfair advantage, then I'm all for this suggestion. Okay, this, in my opinion, I thought about this for a while and debating on whether this is going to be the best way of doing it or whatnot, and I can't find any argument against this idea. Okay, so in my opinion, I think this is the best solution to make it as fair as possible. It's never going to be completely, absolutely, perfectly fair. But this is a lot better, I think, than using whatever other matching processes they're using. I think this is the way to go. Anyway, this is Bear No Bear. If you got any suggestions on thoughts of this video or what you think of this developer suggestion, feel free to post comments below, and make sure you check my pinned comments out and like and subscribe for future notifications. Bear and a Bear. I'll talk to you guys all later.